Hello everybody and welcome to a Train Sim World free video, having a look at the southeastern high-speed extended route from Ashford up to St Pancras International with a class 395. If this is the first video you've seen by me, then my name's Richard and I'm a freight train driver and former passenger train driver based in the southeast of England. I'm also a father to 4 wonderful children, which is where the Dad Brown name comes from. Before we jump into the video, and as always, I have got to tell you that all the views and opinions expressed within this video are solely my own and may not reflect those of any companies I may be employed by or associated with. Furthermore, I'm also obliged to tell you that Dovetail Games have given me this game and this route free of charge, but all the opinions are my own, so if there's something I don't like, I will tell you. I'm under absolutely no obligation to wrap it in cotton wool. I'm going to be completely and utterly honest with you and give you my honest opinions. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into the game and play some trains. So here we are. I have selected the class 395 and the southeastern high speed route from the main menu. And we're going to load up 1 Juliet 29 Margate to St Pancras International. Bit of Chaz and Dave down to Margate. 11:42 service from Ashford. We'll be going Ashford, Ebbsfleet, Stratford and St Pancras. 38-minute run. We're going to have the dynamic weather set, 2nd of September, and heavy clouds. So possibility of a little bit of wheel slip and changeable weather conditions. Let's click get started and hope for the best. We are loading. Lovely picture of the ICE 1 there on the German route. I'd love to do some videos on the German route, but my pronunciation of German towns and German names is terrible. Check my train spotting in Germany travel vlog video for more information about that. Me butchering German pronunciations. Here we are then, 1 Juliet 29 Margate to St Pancras International. Drive the southeastern service from Ashford International to St Pancras. We're a 395, we are 6 carriages. That's the important bit of information there, because we want to make sure we're stopping in the right places on the platform. Let's hit get started. So we'll bring up our timetable. We are 11:44 departure from here, so we've got 2 minutes to set the train up, which is now standard across Train Sim World 3, which I really like. We're then stopping at Ebbsfleet International, Stratford International, and finally St Pancras International. So we shall jump about the seat and turn the safety systems on to begin with. So AWS, DSD, and that is it. Everything is on. Everything is as it should be. Back in the seat, and what we want to do is put our key in and go into neutral. You can see our KVB or KVM, I can never remember the name of that safety system, KVB, KVM safety system firing up there, because that is operational in this game now, which is brilliant. Okay, unlock doors. Platform is on the left. Let's open the doors on the left-hand side. There we go. We mustn't forget to set our lights. I always forget to set the lights. Day running is fine. And we're also on the overhead now, so we're going to press CTRL. We're going to press and hold that. And then pan up, shoes down for 5 seconds each. And what we want to check is that the MCB, VCB, so that's main circuit breaker or vacuum circuit breaker light has gone out, and we've got line voltage illuminated. So we've got 3 power systems on this train. We've got AC, DC, and CTRL, which is channel tunnel rail link. So the 2 modes you'll use on this route will be DC, which is for the 750 volt third rail. So from Ebbsfleet down to Faversham, you'll be on the DC. And CTRL when you're on the high-speed 1 network. AC is for running on network rail, 25,000 volt AC system. It's not used on Train Sim World. So we've got a little bit of time before we head off. So let's just jump out and have a quick look around the outside of the train. Quick look at Ashford Station as well. We're delaying the train now. So you've got the HS1 flyover there, which have a bit of an overview of Ashford Station. So yeah, the line round to the right there is the Marshlinc line via Rye round to Hastings. I would absolutely love to see that route modelled with a 171, but it's kind of my local route, so I guess I'm being biased. You've got the Newtown sidings here, the east sidings where that 465 is directly in front of us, and you can see over there the Hitachi depot, which is modelled and you can take trains in and out of there. We're currently sitting above the flyover. It takes you down to the Channel Tunnel in that direction, and up to London in this direction. Yeah, Ashford Station looking quite nice. Little fact for you. The building over on the right there, that we're looking straight at, is International House. And that is where the Southeastern Training School, there and Orpington, where the Southeastern Training School is based. So the Southeastern High Speed 395 simulator is in that building right there, as well as their training school and payroll departments and HR and all that sort of thing. Okay, right, lock doors. We've got a green and a U. Put the train into forward. And our next stop is Ebbsfleet. So as you will see, guys, you've got the two speed signs there. You've got the 40 miles an hour and you've got the black sign with the white writing 60. The black background with the white writing is kilometres an hour. When the 395, the train we're driving, is in CTRL mode, your speedo will automatically be in kilometres an hour, as we can see there. So we're 60 leaving Ashford. I have just realised for the beginning of this video you've had absolutely no game audio at all. So I have now rectified that. My apologies. Okay, so going over the crossover there, the speed has dropped. My bad. And we'll see what the weather conditions are going to do en route as well. Could be interesting. So during my former life as a passenger train driver, or should I say during my former life as a shunter driver or depot driver, I was actually based in the depot at Ashford International and had the pleasure of being able to drive these trains around the depot. Being a shunter driver, we used to be able to take them from the depot into the station. The maximum speed I ever got out of one of these was 20 miles an hour. It's the fastest domestic train in the country and I was only allowed to drive it at 20 miles an hour. So I've never signed any of the TVM or the in-cab signalling or anything like that on these. Everything I know about it is what I've learned from other people and what I've learned from playing train sim, really. So there we go, we've got 100 on the board. That's the TVM system kicking in there, the in-cab signalling system. Have I got cab lights on? Because it's quite light. No, I haven't. It's just the residual lighting there as we've gone into the tunnel, which now sorted itself out. And now we join onto the high-speed line proper. So the lines we're joining onto are the ones you just saw going across the viaduct at Ashford Station there. Gradients on this route are very severe. So you can see 2.3% uphill gradient. That is a very severe gradient. Okay, so we've got 3 greens, we've got 225. That clears us for 225 kilometres an hour, which is our maximum speed on this route. Give you a bit of horn action because I know someone will ask if we can do some horn action. And we'll have a quick look around on the outside. I'll let you listen to the sounds for a second as well. So one of the things we want to check on this train is I believe once you get to 160 kilometres an hour, the horn actually gets louder. So 160 is 100 miles an hour, and the horn actually gets louder when you get to 160. So if we jump outside again, we can test that. I think it did. So we are good there for 225 kilometres an hour. So yeah, like I say guys, if this happens to be the first video you've seen by me, my name is Richard and I am a freight train driver and a former passenger train driver based in the southeast of England. I have 4 wonderful children, which is where the Dad Brown name comes from. And I've been running a YouTube channel since about 2016. So as well as my train sim content on the channel, you'll also find train driver vlogs, a bit of information about my day-to-day life as a train driver, and career advice, if you like, if that's your thing. We've also got the Discord server, where you can talk about trains, aviation, buses, anything you like really, in a friendly community. And I'm also on social media, which are on the screen for you right now. So we've got the driver safety device going off there. We'll reset that. If we weren't to reset the driver safety device, then after about 7 seconds the emergency brakes would come hard on. So it's what was known as the dead man's hand or dead man's pedal driver safety device. The alarm that actually goes off is part of another system called the vigilance system, which is all linked in with the driver safety device. So yeah, really liking the sense of speed that you get on this route. It's very good. I'm liking the greenery and everything as well, and the kind of the colour and the lighting in general. I think it's very good. I know Dovetail have put a lot of effort into the lighting. They've been out and measured all the lighting with lux meters, and kind of reference everything back to real world data, and it definitely does show. Some of the shadows being cast and everything are brilliant, and yeah, I just think the game looks a lot nicer. The markers you see on the left hand side, the blue marker with the yellow triangle, that is effectively a block marker. It's similar in principle to a signal. Obviously all of our signalling is done in cab on the TVM system. You can see our 225 there. However, if that was to come up with, we'd get checked down and it was to come up with 3 reds, we'd use the marker boards as the stopping position. So if we got 3 reds on there, it'd be looking to stop at the marker position. If we got 3 reds from 225, that would be an emergency stop. What would normally happen is you'd be checked down to a red, so your speed would start flashing and it'd come down gradually in stages. So the gradients on this route make maintaining a speed relatively challenging. You're going up and down, up and down, up and down, and there are some gradients on this route where you're going up, you're full power and you're actually losing speed. And it's impossible to get to 225. And that's exactly how it is in real life on this route. As you can see there from the indicator on the speedo, we're in power notch 4, we're wide open, we're on a 1.4% gradient, sorry. As you can see there, we've got an arrow downwards saying our speed is reducing even though we're in full power. No cruise control or speed set or anything like that on these trains. It is purely down to the skill of the driver to try and maintain that speed. You need to be staying as close to 225 as you possibly can in order to keep to the timetable. So you can see now we've started going downhill on a 1.1% gradient and our speed is picking up very, very quickly. So we need to shut back that power and we may even need a little bit of brake in a second. 21 miles to Ebbsfleet station. A good indication as to what your speed's doing is on the speedo there. As you can see at the moment we've got the line, which means our speed is staying constant. The upwards arrow there shows our speed is increasing, and the downward arrow shows our speed will be decreasing. We can adjust the brightness level on the screen there, which is very nice as well. So one of the things I would very, very much like to see on Train Sim World, and I know a lot of people in the community have spoken about it before, would be to have a working GSMR radio. So we have the ability to press the button on here to contact the signaller. That did flag up. It's gone now, but it is on there somewhere. But I think the ability to just register your radio, put your train ID number in, would be a really, really nice touch. And just add that extra layer of immersion and realism. If you want to know more about the GSMR radio, I made a video on that. It's on my channel, Train Driver Rules GSMR Radio. It tells you all about it, why we set it up, what it does, and making and receiving emergency calls. So yeah, just taking my speed, just taking my power off a little bit there. As we're running downhill. And straight back uphill again, so it's very undulating, this line. Gives it a more of a challenging element. I find with some of the German routes, and I really do like driving the German routes, and I would love to play the German routes, but as I said earlier, I would just butcher the pronunciations of all the German places, which is why I don't. Yeah, you've got the LZB system, and then you set the AFF, the speed set thing, to fall forward, and the train pretty much drives itself, braking and accelerating when it needs to, which is nice in a way, but it kind of, from a driver's perspective, for me, that's a little bit boring. I'd rather be manually driving the train. The idea is, as well, best practice is you don't want to be using the brakes if you can avoid it. So I'm kind of using the power to control the train. So as you can see, I'm saying sort of trying to stay between 220 and 225, but the gradients are making that quite difficult. So rather than sort of going up to 225 and then putting the brake on, if we start going downhill, I'm shutting the power off, letting the speed increase. What we don't want to be doing is using the brakes constantly. It's a more uncomfortable ride for the passenger, and it's extra wear and tear on the train that we don't really need. So there we can see ahead that the gradient's going to start to fall, so I'm just taking the power off there. I think I may have let my speed creep up a little bit too high. I've got absolutely no route knowledge at all on this, so I'm just winging it using the HUD. Yeah, so we're going to need a little bit of brake there, which is bad practice. I should have lost a little bit more speed while we were going uphill to not need to use the brake. Tea and biscuits with my manager for bad driving. That's something we do on our live streams. We do live stream quite often, guys. We have a lot of fun on the live streams, if you've not seen them before. We have a game on there called Locomotive Location Livery, which is, it's a bit like, I want to say it was catchphrase, not catchphrase. Anyway, we basically have a 5x5, so 25 squares. There's a picture behind them. We reveal them square by square, and you have to guess the locomotive location livery. We sometimes have a bit of dancing. I sometimes do a bit of dancing, tell a few jokes. I have to try not to get on my soapbox and be political about issues as well, which can be interesting at times. So we do have fun over on the live streams. My speed has come back far too much there. My concentration obviously wasn't where it needed to be. So 10 miles away from Ebbsfleet, and we've got 11 miles from Ebbsfleet. We did depart Ashford a little bit late though, because we were nosing around the station. So yeah, so tea and biscuits with your manager, guys, basically means you've done something wrong and your manager wants a little chat, so you go in for tea and biscuits. That's something that happens about 2 or 3 times on a live stream. It's a regular occurrence. It's a running joke that we have to have at least one instance of tea and biscuits per live stream. So the lighting effects in the tunnel and the bloom as you come out is really nice as your eyes adjust. That's been really, really well simulated. It's a steep downhill gradient now, 2.4%. Looks like I'm going to need the brakes again. Hoping it's going to level out before I do. Bad driving. Bad driving. And I believe we're dropping down towards the Medway Bridge now. Yeah, really steep, long downhill gradient, as you can see. Yeah, coming alongside the A2, over the Medway Bridge. I really want to get my drone up here by the Medway Bridge and get some nice footage, but unfortunately it's within the controlled airspace for Rochester Airport. It is doable, it's just a bit of paperwork that I need to fill out and stuff, so who knows? So we're not raining yet, which is good news. We're do have dynamic weather turned on. I'm told the dynamic weather is completely random, but the changes shouldn't be so big that you kind of have bright sunshine then go to full-on snow. It should be a bit more subtle than that. But I do like the fact that it adds an extra element to your driving. I was doing a run on a 66 earlier on. That video is on my channel. I do drive 66s in real life. Same route, but we were doing Hoo Junction down to Dartford with class 66, and it started raining halfway along the route, and there was a bit of wheel slip and stuff that went on, so that you have to adapt your driving to suit the conditions. So that was really nice. I'm half expecting it to start raining here. Now I'm trying to work out if that is raining or whether that's dirt on my monitor. No, we do have rain. We do have rain. Really liking the way that acts on the windscreen there. And you can see, because we're driving forward, you can kind of see the way the raindrops are pushing out. Really, really liking that. So not raining particularly hard at the moment, just a light drizzle. Let's put some wipers on all the same. Wiper 40. Is that a bit too much, maybe? Okay, let's put them back to 10. Okay, guys, so you can see we've got 225 flashing. What that's basically telling us is that our speed is going to be reduced at the next marker board. So we're okay to be doing 225, but by the time we reach the next marker board, our speed will be reduced. So being that the conditions are a bit wet, I'm starting to get the brakes in now. So as we go past our next marker board, you'll see a new speed indicated on the screen there. So 200 and flashing, that's telling us that we need to be doing 200 by the next marker board, but because it's flashing, we are expecting our speed to be reduced even further. We're only 3.1 miles out of Ebbsfleet, that's why we're starting to be checked down now. We're starting to be checked down for the station stop at Ebbsfleet. So I am going to, because of the wet conditions, I am going to start getting the braking a little bit early. We're also in the leaf-fall season as well, being September. And we're on quite a steep downhill gradient there. So what are we going to update to? Updating to 160. I don't know why it's telling me I was speeding, because I certainly wasn't. We're yellow though, not red, are we? So by the next marker point we need to be doing 160, and our speed is going to be reduced further. So there we are, there's the 160. Still got the brakes in. We're coming up to the marker board now. So by the time we get to the next marker board, we need to be doing 130. Not flashing, which means we're going to maintain 130, or the speed's going to increase again. So I'm going to give a little bit more brake there just to buy us a bit of space. 40% brake. So we're trying, idealistically, we don't want to be using more than 60% of our brake force. If we're using more than 60% of our brake force, we're driving in an inappropriate way. So there we go, 130's gone solid, it's got no diamonds or anything behind it, which means we're maintaining 130. 0.7 miles for Ebbsfleet. I'm actually going to give it pretty much all of the 60% I was saying now to get that speed down. Windscreen wipers probably need to go up a little bit as well. It's coming into Ebbsfleet. I am sort of thinking, how long's our train? We are 6 carriages, so we are looking for the 6-car mark on the platform. We do have the HUD turned on, which is going to help us a little bit. I very much, I'm saying this in advance, that I'm 70% brake, which is, if you need it, use it, but as good practice, we shouldn't be using that much brake. I very much struggle with the kilometres versus the miles an hour with my speed reference, and I always end up overshooting platforms because of that. So there's the 6-car stop mark, which we are sailing past. However, we are on the platform, so we'll take that. That's good. So what I'm doing is driving now, going into neutral, which is my choice to do so. We've got brakes in, doors are on the right, we are 6 cars past the 6th car. We can open those up. just take a moment to sort of appreciate how atmospheric that looks. It's really lovely. Yeah, it keeps putting me inside the train, doesn't like me standing out there. So we got some lightning at the back there. And you can see as well we have umbrellas in game. I think the passengers generally look a lot more colourful, if I'm being honest with you, and having the umbrellas is a really nice touch. So we're good to lock the doors. Weather is miserable. And we are 16 miles to Stratford. 130 miles an hour is our permitted speed. Into forward. Now, because it's slippery, potentially slippery because it's wet, I'm not going to go into full power straight away. So I've given it power notch 2 to get it moving. And we got up to 3. And once she's accelerating okay, we can give it all the power. So I don't know if you just heard a little click noise there. Oh, nice bolt of lightning in front of us. I don't know if you heard the little click noise there. Basically, on these trains, all the doors are pressure sealed. So once we get above a certain speed, there's pistons that push the doors hard against the outside of the train, which stops a lot of the vibration and rattling when they're going along at high speed. There's a lot of banking on that track. So good for 130. I'm going to knock the speed off there, knock the power off there, because we're going downhill, or we will be going downhill into the London tunnel. Not London, sorry, the Thames tunnel. So the speed's going to pick up. There we go. There's 225. So straight back in, full power. It's not raining in the tunnel, which is good. And the lighting in the tunnel, I mean, there's our desk light on there. I'm a fan of the way the lighting in the tunnel looks. I definitely am a fan. Let's turn the wipers off. That's pretty irritating. You can also change the park position of your wiper. So that's parked on the right. If we flick that over there, we can go wiper park left, which is quite a nice touch. Depends on whether you're going around a left-hand bend or a right-hand bend. If you're on sort of a if you're on a right-hand bend, for example, and your wipers are parked over on the right, they might be obscuring your view over there, so you might want to switch them over. Oh, we've come out into a horrible, rainy, wet and dark scene. So, let's get some wipers on. And we are coming under the Dartford crossing. You can just about see it off there. Just off in the distance. Very atmospheric, very moody. Of the entire high-speed route, lightning bolt. Of the entire high-speed route, this is probably my favourite section through Dagenham and Ripple Lane into London Tunnel 2. Incidentally, many years ago, because I used to work for, when I was a passenger driver, I used to work for Southeastern. I joined Southeastern before the high-speed service was introduced, and they were doing a loading exercise on the Class 395s at Ebbsfleet to basically establish that the CCTV cameras that they used for driver-only operation on the outside of the train were working, and to kind of time the evacuation, how long it took to evacuate people. And they asked for volunteers to go on the train, staff volunteers to go on the train and take part in these evacuation trials. And it was the first daylight run of a Class 395, because they had all been delivered overnight. So it was the first daylight run of a Class 395. And I boarded the train at Ramsgate, and we went along the North Kent route all the way to Ebbsfleet on the high speed up to St Pancras, and then back to Ashford on the high speed. And there was a journalist on the train at the time, and I was interviewed by the journalist. And obviously high-speed rail was completely new and completely alien to me at that point. I'd never travelled on the Eurostar or anything like that, and this was the first domestic high-speed line in the UK. So I told the journalist, I said the sensation is very similar to flying, because it's kind of the way the railway line contours itself to the land, you know, oh, there's a road bridge there, but it's an existing road bridge. Rather than build a new one, we're going to kind of swing around and dive under it and come back up. Very similar to flying, the way it just cuts through the land. You know, there's a road there, so we're just going to climb up over it and dip down the other side. Yeah, really enjoyable, and this is probably my favourite section of this line. So I've never been fortunate enough to have a cab ride along this line, but as a passenger, definitely. So I know a few people will be worried about the optimisation on this game. I am currently getting 62 frames per second. I know you can't see the frames per second counter on the video. 62 frames per second for me. It's just dropped down to 50 saying that. For reference purposes, I'm running a GTX RTX 3090 graphics card. I have an Intel Pentium i9 which is overclocked to 5 GHz, and I have 32 gigabytes of DDR memory. And this is all running off of a 1 TB solid state drive as well. So pretty beefy machine. My graphics settings are currently maxed out. Everything's on ultra or very high where ultra's not available, and I'm running the game at 1080 because that's what the video is being recorded at. So for me at the moment, yeah, 72 frames per second at the moment. There's been kind of no massively noticeable drop in the frame rate or anything like that. It's been pretty smooth. So windscreen wipers can now go off. Keeping an eye on my speed, having to use the brakes there to bring that down. And this is, I always get these mixed up, I believe this is London Tunnel 2, and the one at St Pancras end is London Tunnel 1. For me, the route's a little bit boring from here on in. It's just tunnel. Until we get to St Pancras in 5 miles, we are just in the tunnel. I believe when the 395s entered service, they had problems with the yaw dampers on the side of the train, and the speed they were entering the tunnel with the pressure difference in the tunnel was causing the actual train to vibrate in the tunnels, and they were getting a lot of motion sickness issues. So they had to do a lot of work on the yaw dampers and actually stiffen them up to stop that effect happening. So I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts, guys, on what you think of the 395. Some of the sounds have been redone on it, some of the graphics have been tweaked, and what you think of the Train Sim World 3 release and the Southeastern High-Speed Extended route in general. My personal opinion of it, 225 flashing, which means our speed's going to come down at the next block marker. My personal opinion of it is I think the route is very good. I think the new graphics engine on the game is very good. I'm loving the dynamic lighting and the weather and bits and bobs like that. Why we've got light flickering through, I've got no idea. That's not good. Yeah, I'm loving that. There are still a few bugs in the game, which I'm sure I would hope would be ironed out with time. For me personally, I think Train Sim World 3, and I've said this in my streams and my other videos, I think Train Sim World 3 should have been released with a brand new UK route. I think extending an existing one would have worked well as a DLC, but I think in terms of at release, it should have been a brand new route. And I think a lot of people who have paid, who already have the Southeastern High Speed, although they're getting the extended route, they already have the Southeastern High Speed. I think they're feeling a little bit, you know, a little bit maybe I don't want to say ripped off, but a little bit upset. You know, they're spending a lot of money for essentially what is an upgrade to the graphics engine. A big upgrade, I must say, because the new physics in the game and the new lighting system do look absolutely beautiful. Again, that's my opinion. Dovetail games do not tell me what I've got to say. It's entirely up to me what I want to say. 100 for the 100 at the block marker there. But yeah, I think had it been a brand new route on release, I think it would have been better received by the community. For me personally, though, I like it. Look at the graphics on the tunnel walls there and stuff. It's lovely. As we come out into the Stratford box. Stratford International, where an international train has never stopped and probably never will stop. But it's keeping its international name. And this is where I have to remember speed-wise that we are in kilometres an hour. It's a bit wet as well, so it might be slippery. It's quite difficult adapting from the high speed to the slower speed running as well. I do find that quite tricky. It's quite similar to when you drive a car, isn't it? When you've been driving on a motorway for hours and hours on end, and then you suddenly come off onto the slip road, and you're coming up towards the roundabout, or the traffic lights on the slip road, and you're going a lot faster than what you think you are, because you just don't have that perception of speed because you've been travelling at high speed for so long. Okay, we are a 6-car train. We are on the 6-car mark. I'm going to go into neutral, and our doors are on the left. That is what the 3-step check is. You see it says there, 3-step check. The 3-step check is me checking, doing those 3 steps. I'm checking the formation of my train, which in this case is 6 carriages, as indicated there. I'm checking our stop position on the platform, which you can just about see there is 6 cars, and I'm checking what side the platform's on. We don't want to be opening the doors on the wrong side. That would be a disaster because people would fall out and get run over by a train, and that's a lot of paperwork. Likewise, if we've got a 12-car train, we don't want to stop on the 6-car mark because the passengers in the back of the train will get out and will fall on the track, and again, that's lots of paperwork. And as train drivers, we don't like paperwork. Nobody likes paperwork. Shall we see if we can get if we can pull this off? Look at the lighting on that. That looks absolutely lovely. Great stuff, love it. Sounds good, looks good. So I believe this is London Tunnel 1 that we're in now, so we're good for 225. Slightly shorter tunnel this one, we're in St Pancras in 4.7 miles. So there is a TGV service as well. If you've got the LGV Mediterranean pack, which I do not have, there is a TGV service, like a special service. You can work into the international platforms on this route now. So if you do have that, you get that additional layer on there, which is quite nice. It's also worth jumping out at Ebbsfleet International, going and having a look around the station, and also having a look around the depot at Ashford. I showed you the Hitachi depot where the 395s are maintained. It's worth just having a nosy round there because the modelling on the inside of the depot is superb. You've got the pits for walking underneath the trains, you've got the railings around the tops, you can walk around the top of the trains. It is, I think they said it's the most detailed depot that they've ever modelled, and it's very good. It's very good. So 225 flashing means we're expecting a reduction in speed at our next marker. The markers are roughly every kilometre apart. So that's telling us we need to be doing 200 at our next marker. So if we've got yellow diamonds or orange diamonds or amber diamonds, whatever you want to call it, around the number, that's telling us that is our target speed at the next marker board. If we don't have the diamonds or whatever around it, we've just got the solid number. If we've just got the solid number, that's telling us that is our speed. So 200 flashing there. The speed actually went up to 200. It's flashing, which means we're expecting a reduction in speed at our next marker board. So I'm just going to leave it coasting as it is. $160 flashing, yeah, again, I'm just going to leave that. I think I'll turn those windscreen wipers off though. Dry wipers, very annoying. There's our marker board, so there we go. Once it's doing 100 at the next marker, and we've got to expect a reduction in speed. So let's get some brakes in. Little bit of lag there. We dropped to about 50 FPS there. It's back up in the 70s now. So it does feel like the game is fairly well optimised in my opinion. I mean, to be fair, we are kind of just in a tunnel, so I should hope so. Okay, so we've got 80 in the diamonds, which is telling me that at the next block marker we need to be doing 80. It's not flashing, which means it's going to hold steady at 80 or increase. And we've got an AWS warning there as well. So the TVM system should shut itself down in a minute as we come under, as we go back out to external signalling. We've got a green and a U. We should get a nice lot of bloom as we come out the tunnel. It's still chucking it down. Let's have some wipers. That's me not looking at my heads-up display. There was a 60 there, because obviously now the TVM is disengaged. We've got 2 yellows. Here you go, guys. Perfect example of when you might want to park your wipers on the right-hand side. So we can switch that over there. As we're coming around the left-hand bend, they get in the way a little bit. Again, me not looking at my HUD. Very sorry about that. I'm speeding. Don't recommend you do that in real life. Not at all. It's not good. So normally coming into a terminal station we don't want to be doing any more than 15 miles an hour at the platform ramps. I'm guessing in kilometres that's probably about 22, 23. So we say 25 because I'm doing 23. So let's say 25. And on the approach to buffer stops, you would normally have TPWS loops, train protection warning system, and they would be set for 10 miles an hour. I don't know. I'm assuming the high speed hasn't got them because it's got the KVB system and the TVM system. So I'm guessing they're not fitted with TPWS loops, but we're going to slow down just in case. And the last thing we want to do is hit the buffer stops. We should be aiming to stop about 6 foot away from the buffer stops. The thing you have to remember with the 395 is you've got a long nose on the front of that train. So from where you're sitting, you've got another maybe 10-15 foot of train in front of you. So you just need to remember that when you're referencing your location. Okay, so we're going to go full service brake application. We're going to set our DRA because the buffer stops is a red signal. We're going to go into neutral and we're going to do our 3-step check. So we're a 6-car train, we're on the buffer stops and the doors are on the left. We can then proceed to set our tail lights. Where are we? Day running. Tail. Loading passengers. Let's have a look at what it wants us to do. It's a bit foggy in St Pancras. I mean, I guess the station's pretty open, so it's possible. Looking very atmospheric. Lots of passengers around as well, which is... It's quite nice to see the lot of passengers around. I do like that. I do like that. We've got a gold medal for superb. Questionable stop accuracy. Very questionable stop accuracy there, but nevertheless, it's a gold medal. We'll take that. We'll take that. Not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. So there we go, guys. That is my 395 run on the Southeastern High Speed Extended for Train Sim World 3. Be very interested to hear what you think about the new route, what you think about the new train, and what you think about this style of video as well. I always find it a bit difficult doing videos as opposed to live streams, because when you live stream, you have the feedback of the chats. So you're actually communicating with people, whereas when I'm doing a video, I'm just sitting here making stuff up as I go along and hoping it's interesting. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button and consider subscribing to Dad Rail for more content like this. That would be absolutely brilliant. Like I said earlier, if you want to talk about trains, aviation, planes, or just want to hang out in a friendly online environment, then we do have a Discord server. You're very welcome to join us over there. And if you want to, you can follow me on my social media channels, which are on the screen for you right now. Going to be lots of Train Sim World free content coming to the channel over the next few weeks. There's going to be a few live streams and bits and bobs. I've also got a Train Sim World free Class 66 video. I am a 66 driver. I drive 66s in real life, so it would have been rude not to do it. So do go and check that one out. Thank you very much for watching, guys. It's been absolutely brilliant to have you here. If you are still here at the end of the video, congratulations. You're one of not very many. Hope to see you in a future video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.